Good morning. Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. It's Thursday, August the 25th. We all know what that day means. Sean, it's here. I'm Tony Haggerty, Haggerty10, the Twitter handle. I'm joined by Sean Martin, TCW. Sean, it's here. It's Champions League group stage draw day. Woohoo!
It certainly is, and as one of the commenters, Alan Boyne, has said here, just 7 hours to go, just a mere 7 hours.
A mere 7 hours indeed, Sean. Now, as we always do, first thing, along the strap at the bottom, subscribe to the Celtic Way. You know what to do, guys. Hit that subscribe button. It's £1 a month for full access. Get access to the pods and everything on the website. There's some wonderful stuff on the website today, building up the Champions League draw in Istanbul sometime round about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock tonight. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. It's a good bargain, as I always say, Sean. Good value for money, isn't it?
Certainly is, Tony. Yep, certainly is.
Now, Champions League, Sean. It's here. It's arrived. Seem to have spent an eternity talking about it, but yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? The build-up is the viewer said there. 7 hours to go. So, guys, on Champions League Day, we thought we'd throw it over to you as well today. Give us your Champions League memories, good, bad, or indifferent, and give us some of your questions. Myself and Sean will endeavour to answer them as well. But give us your top Champions League moments. Guys, yes, are we there yet? Indeed, how much longer are we there yet? Yeah. Morning, folks. Morning, David. Yep. Sean, you got any particular memory you want to kick us off with?
I think we'll talk about the draw first. We'll talk about the draw.
You want to talk about the draw first?
We'll give our memories with them when we get a few comments in. I don't think we've been that bad, Tony. By the way, I don't think we've been labouring on about the Champions League all summer. I think we've made quite an effort not to talk about it, but that's not to say I'm not excited now though, because the day's upon us. So I've got a wee graphic for you, Tony. I'll put up the
put up the graphic, Sean. The graphic, as you know, ladies and gentlemen.
I've not made this one right enough. This has been borrowed, but I'll just take away those, and there we go. That's your pots, Tony. That's the pots and pans.
The pots and pans and everything.
I suppose what will we start with, Tony? Hardest draw. Hardest. What do you think's your hardest draw then?
Man City, Real Madrid.
Well, we can't get both, so pick one.
Real Madrid then.
Right, okay. Pot one, I'll go. It would either be Real Madrid. I'll go PSG. It'd be different because I've just PSG.
Yeah.
Would you like pot two?
Only because Real Madrid have got a great record in the
Champions. Well, they're reigning champions. I suppose it really is. It is them when you think about it.
Pot two. I know who I want. I would take Tottenham.
Is that who? Right, who do you think's the hardest though?
The hardest is probably. I guess it's. Let me see. I think the hardest is probably. It's still going to be Liverpool, isn't it? Liverpool are the top side.
Kookaburra saying pot two actually looks tougher than pot one. For me, hardest draw. I think it is Liverpool if it's back to normal Liverpool, not the way that they've started the season.
Yeah.
Beyond that, Atletico Madrid would be a difficult and stylistic prospect.
Yeah,
I think
it'd be a tasty one, Atletico, and there'd be all sorts of history dredged up with that one as well.
They would try and cynically drag the Postecoglou Ange ball off of its kind of perch, I think. So that would be difficult. But I think if Liverpool are back on form and it's not the Liverpool that have started the season down south, then I agree with you. I think it's probably them. For pot three, that's actually quite difficult as well. In terms of hardest team, I think I'll go Inter Milan, I think.
Inter or Napoli are the hardest two teams you could get there, to be honest, Sean. And possibly a meeting again with Leverkusen.
Potentially, aye. And then obviously pot four, Celtic. So, hardest, that's not bad. Who did you say that, Tony? I'm going to note that down.
What's that?
Real Madrid,
yeah. Liverpool. And any of the Italian teams.
Pick one. I'm going Inter. You want to go Napoli?
I'll take Napoli then, yeah. And you could have in fact, you've played all of those teams in Europe in pot three. Played Shakhtar, you played Salzburg, Dortmund, Inter, The only one you had, I don't think you played Napoli. In fact, that's the only one you've not played.
The only one.
Benfica, Sporting, and Leverkusen. Yeah, they've got previous against all three of those. All of those teams.
Curtis saying hardest draw: City, Barca, Inter. I suppose it depends with Barca, doesn't it?
That's an interesting one.
If they can register other players.
Sean Curran flicks up and I think we will get Benfica just because of Jota.
Yeah, by the way, that's a good shout. I believe in that kind of stuff. The quirk of fate.
I would. That's actually in pot 3. The 2 teams you would prefer are Benfica and Sporting. I think you'll get a good chance.
We'll come on to our ideal group, Tony. I think we'll touch on that easiest group. Obviously, in inverted commas, air quotes, easiest group. You went first the last time. I'll go first. I think I know they're the Europa League champions, but I think it is Frankfurt when you think about it.
Of course, Frankfurt's the team everybody wants in pot 1. Let's be honest.
I mean, they did win the Europa League, so obviously they've got something about them. But ultimately, I think when you look at the other contenders, maybe it's.
And I think Porto and Ajax are possibly doable.
So who you going, Frankfurt or one of those two?
I've got to say Frankfurt. I wanted Frankfurt from the moment they won the Europa League and told they would be in pot 1. So I would have wanted Frankfurt. Yeah, that's the ideal scenario.
A lot of people saying pot 2 does look harder. So who's the easiest of the pot 2 teams then, Tony? I don't actually know if there is an easy one there. But
I don't think there is either. But going on the fact that they've not got they've not got a huge pedigree. I mean, I would take Tottenham.
Okay, right.
Yeah, Battler Britain as well. I think Celtic have more than a fighting chance in that, or potentially Leipzig again, because I think they could be the 2 doable teams in pot 2. But any of the rest, I think
I'm going to. I like a cop out when it comes to these things. So I'm going to say for pot 2 for the easiest draw, Liverpool, if they're still playing the way that they're playing now. And then pot 3, Tony, again, it's, I don't know, Shakhtar maybe?
The just logistics of the trip to Shakhtar, that's all.
I suppose. In fact, you said kind of Benfica or Sporting, you reckon, maybe?
I would. I think they would be the doable ones in that, that Celtic could get a bit of joy.
What one do you reckon? What one are you going for? I'm noting this down to throw at you in the next few weeks. But...
Sporting Lisbon. For those of a certain vintage will remember
the Derby.
We'll remember a wonderful comeback against Sporting. Went to Portugal and lost 2-0, 1983, and come back and beat them 5-0 in the lime green strip in that wonderful Arthur Montford commentary. I urge viewers to download that on YouTube. It's just 25 minutes of gold. It's great.
David Ferguson saying, Tony, everyone is doable. That's confidence for you. I like that.
Well, that's kind of something that Ange Postecoglou would say, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. That's
very Ange Postecoglou-esque, of course.
Patrick McLaughlin, Porto, Leipzig, and Shakhtar. He's after Frank Kennedy, Frankfurt, Shakhtar, and Chelsea. A lot of Frankfurt and Shakhtar love in the comments. Sean Curran, Liverpool dodgy at the moment. I know. I mean, you've seen what happened. Man United, not exactly known for their pressing in the last few years, and they pressed them the other night and they couldn't go with it. So just imagine Callum McGregor, Matt O'Reilly, Daisen Maeda, Kyogo.
I wouldn't.
I'm talking myself into it, Tony.
I wouldn't read too much into Liverpool's temporary loss of form. They'll be bang at it.
Yes, Sean, bring on Liverpool.
They'll be bang at it when the...
It's a different question now, Tony, which isn't necessarily easiest or hardest. Just who would you want? Who would you want?
Who would I want?
Yep. From the 3 pots, sorry.
Frankfurt, Tottenham, Sporting.
So the same 3 is the easiest one?
Yeah.
Right, my ideal draw, Tony, right, bear with me here, is FC Porto. The revenge plot. I like the subtext and all that. I like all that stuff. The subplots. Chelsea, because I like a few of the commenters. I would like the chance for Celtic. I like when they draw English teams in Europe. I always think there's an extra edge to it, and they're very capable of humbling an English Premier League team. The reason I've went with Chelsea rather than Tottenham is I think out of the 2 managers, I'd like to see Postecoglou go up against Thomas Tuchel more than I'd like to see him go up against Antonio Conte, because I think Conte's got more about him. I rate him more as a manager, but and he's also had experience. But of Parkhead. But yeah, and then the last one, pot 3, and I know people probably won't want this because we played them last year, but Leverkusen, because I almost see it as almost like a progress test a year on from the Europa League meetings, Tony, just to see what's going on since, like that kind of thing. So that's my ideal 3. But yours is so yours is the same as the easiest group: Frankfurt, Tottenham, Sporting.
I just think that Celtic would have more than a fighting chance against that, and you could plot trying to finish in the top 2 with a group like that.
Yep.
But as I said before, I genuinely want Celtic to have a rip at it. And I think David Ferguson said as well, they're all doable. That's the way the manager, this is what he was born to do. He wants to manage in this competition. He wants to pit his wits against the best. Doesn't matter if it's Conte or Tuchel. He doesn't care. You know what I mean? He does not care if it's Klopp or whoever. He will go at them because that's just the way he is, and that's what he wants, and that's the stage that he wants to showcase his own managerial talent and his team's talent on. And I'm genuinely, I look at that. There's some wonderful teams. Am I daunted? Am I scared? Nah, I'm not. I've got to be honest. I'm not. I look at pot 4, the 6th team down there, and I say, yeah, that's what it's all about. Seeing your name in this illustrious company, and just the chips fall where they may. Who cares? Bring it on, Sean.
David Ferguson, I think you found Angie's burner account. Damn, I've been rumbled, mate. Right, I mean that's fair enough, Tony. There's plenty of people getting in here. Frankfurt, Sevilla, Charlie McGarvey, Frankfurt, Sevilla, Porto for the away trips. A lot of people will have their eyes on that. They'll have the finger hovering, ready to book flights.
Indeed.
City, Barca, Inter for Martin Davey. Fair play.
And I just, it's you cannot, once you're at the top table, you cannot fear anybody. You know, so, and I know Celtic's past record in Europe, people dredge that up and last year and stuff, you know. Hans was building. He was building to this moment. This is the team now that he wants to take into the Champions League. Might even see a couple more arrive before the deadline. And this is it. This is what the players have been building for as well during pre-season. So yeah, I really feel that it doesn't matter who Celtic will get. They'll surprise people, and they might claim a scalp or two, Sean.
Yep, I know. It's you never know. I mean, you speaking to you makes me convinced they're going to win the whole thing half the time. So, yeah, it's there's
I'm the eternal optimist. I'm the eternal dreamer, Sean.
David Gillespie saying the reason that he would want Real, Leipzig, and Sporting is that he just wants to see Celtic play Real Madrid, but he thinks that they could get something from Leipzig and Sporting. So, I mean, it's Kookaburra echoing that, a mix of glamour teams and doable teams. I think that's fair enough. Frank Brennan with a wee reality check for everybody there. If only they were all doable, and then a wee sweary word at the end there. But
keep it clean, Frank.
Let people get excited. I think let them get excited.
I think people are getting excited. They're not getting carried away. I mean, you just look at the team, the calibre of teams in the first 3 pots, and you're saying, wow. But you look at pot 4, Celtic are in amongst it. So that's the way. It's just that there is no inferiority complex when it comes to the Champions League. You're there on merit.
Tony, between you and David Ferguson here, I'm getting more and more convinced that they can beat Real Madrid now. Because you've been putting the confidence in me, and David Ferguson saying, did Real not get beat by a minnow in the group stages? They did actually. I think it was at Cherished European.
Yep,
Cherished European. Yep, that's it. They actually get beat a couple of times. See, in like individual legs and stuff. Remember they come back last minute goals and stuff quite a bit. But anyway, so yeah. So I've got a few comments here, Tony, just coming in with best memories. Do you want to kick us off, or just take some of the viewers first?
We'll take some of the viewers first. I'd like to see their memories and see if
User 21. Don't know if that's their real name. Best memory: Celtic 3, Man City 3.
Wonderful game that was, and Moussa Dembele really showed his class that night, and it was just a real Champions League rip snorter of a game, that. And I think even Pep Guardiola was very complimentary about Celtic.
Certainly was, as anybody that gets the newsletter, Tony, will see with your offering later on, won't they?
Yes, they will. Indeed, that was a kind of nice segue.
You may have quoted the great man.
Yes, I did quote the great man because he said a lovely thing about Celtic and just pertinent to today's draw. So yes, I loved that Man City game. I was there with my father. Yeah, the 5-0 game against PSG. I think we move on, don't we, from that one? Although Cavani did score a wonderful header that night, you had to take your hat off to him for that. It was
one of my favourite players, Cavani. I think he's wonderful, phenomenal.
Yeah, you have to tip your hat when people do extraordinary things, and Cavani scored a cracking header. I just remember thinking, great players do that. That's why they pay the money. So, and the golfing class between Celtic and PSG at that time was pretty awesome.
Curtis saying Kieran Tierney as well in the 3-3 draw. He had a really good game.
Yeah, he was sensational.
Do you give him the goal? I think it was an own goal, but he gets it.
I was giving him it, so it was a wonderful game of football, to be fair.
Yep. Sean Curran with a sentimental one. His highlights taking his son to his first ever Champions League game. He was only 6, and what a game he have taken him to. Celtic 2, Barca 1, 2012.
Just the stars aligned that night, didn't they?
I presume he's been hooked ever since then, because it probably doesn't get any better than that, right enough. But
from the Tifo display, just the 125th anniversary, the stars aligned. Victor Wanyama put them ahead, and Tony Watt, just stuff of dreams. It was, I think, fated. I think's the phrase in that one, and I don't remember Parkhead or Celtic Park rocking to its foundations like that in all my time of supporting. It was just a wonderful coming together. To quote Tommy Burns, there was a community and a cause that night, and I think everybody rallied to it. Players, management, everything. Big Sutton's volley against Juventus, another brilliant game, another
Halloween 2001.
Another humdinger, just two teams, just two attacking. And Trezeguet scored a cracking goal that night as well. Just the wee arrow into
4-3, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep. It was a brilliant goal, just excellent technique. Just, again, watching great players do great things, you have to applaud that. But Sutton that night was unplayable and brilliant. Loved Big Sutton, best £6 million Celtic ever spent on anybody. He was just a phenomenal player for Celtic.
Yep. There's a lot of people saying the 4-3 UV game.
Yeah.
Which your own, Tony? Which, like, you can say this is a split it up. We'll do it. Which your favourite or your best or most cherished or whatever memory as a fan, but also professionally?
I think one of my favourites is Nakamura's free kick against Manchester United.
Funny you should say that. There are 2 comments in quick succession there. Patrick McLaughlin says that, and then Frank Brennan says that as well.
And only because I interviewed him after it, and it became a chapter in a book by a fellow journalist called Brian Marshbanks. It's called Henrik Hairdryers in the Hand of God. And I'd spoken to Nakamura, and if you get the book, you'll see the chapter, and he seemingly didn't speak any English, but he spoke some English that night. He let out a sweary word, and we all kind of laughed because his translator was like, I suppose not, he doesn't speak any English, but he enlightened me that Scott Brown had told him how to say various things. So it was kind of story behind the story and that. And it was great. It was just, and I just think the fact that, I often laugh, he did it at Old Trafford, scored a free kick. And I remember using the line, to do it once is lucky, to do it twice is showboating. So it's, and there was an element to that, because I think people just genuinely saw him hitting free kicks and thought, no bother. And I think Clive Tilsley was pretty stunned in the commentary box, ITV commentary, because I just genuinely think there was a moment that took a lot of people's breath away, and it was a goal that took Celtic into the knockout stages for the first time in the Champions League proper. So I liked that one, both professionally and as a supporter.
Patrick coming back in saying a non-Celtic one, but he's seen Zidane's volley against Leverkusen at Hampden.
I saw that too.
That's his non-Celtic memory.
Yeah, I saw that too.
A goal that actually, Tony, I heard on BBC Sports Sound the other week there, Chick Young compared Jai Katongo's volley for Morton the other week to the Zidane one, which was met with widespread disbelief by the studio, I think. But
that was a wonderful night at Hampden, just to see these players up close and personal, and to see that goal by Zidane again. You just marvelled at it. You were watching a world-class player do a world-class thing, and it was a moment in time, and like everybody who was there, is just a football lover. It was just cracking to see it, regardless if you don't like Real Madrid or whatever. You watch these teams, you see special players, and they produced a wonderful moment that will live long in the memory. There's something about Real Madrid and Hampden, isn't there? So,
yeah. Pete McGee with obviously the one that tops the lot. Celtic 2-1, 1967 Lisbon. Might have been a good result, that, Tony.
That's old money, European Cup stroke Champions League. But as I've said in the digest today, that's Celtic have contributed to the rich tapestry of the European Cup and the Champions League as we know it today, with arguably the greatest and most romantic story of them all. So,
still plenty of love coming in for this 4-3 against Juve with
it was a fantastic game, Sean. I mean, it's Del Piero scored a free kick as well.
He had a bandage in his hand, I remember that time as well. Opposite corner.
I think I've spoken to you before about this. I think Archie McPherson surpassed himself that night in the commentary box too. He was talking about Lubomir Moravcik. Nobody hits a dead ball like Lubomir Moravcik, and he must have got the word in his ear that Del Piero had scored a blinding free kick. Except Del Piero, of course, yes. That kind of stuff. Brilliant,
I remember they were staying. The Juve team were staying up just outside Inverclyde, up past Langbank and different things. And me and my uncle went up to try and catch them just before they got on the bus up to Parkhead and stuff. Just missed them. Just saw them driving it. A couple of ones for Massimo Donati.
Yeah, that was the last minute one, wasn't it? So against Shakhtar. So again, it created bedlam. Scott McDonald against AC Milan. First time
we've actually not had anybody mention that one, I don't think.
Big moments, big games, Sean.
Brian McCabe, Liam Miller versus Leon. God rest him. That actually leads us on, Tony, to a quite remarkable thing that we've got on the website today. I couldn't believe I call Tony the postman sometimes because he keeps delivering different things, and I couldn't believe he delivered this. He phoned me not long ago and says, "You'll never guess who I've got to speak about Celtic in the Champions League." Juninho Pernambucano, Leon and Brazil legend, speaking exclusively to us. So that's on the website. Tony, how did you liked him, didn't you? You thought he was a good chap?
Tremendous fella, yeah. I just asked him. I translated the questions into Portuguese, and he kindly got back to me. And then the translation was all the best to Celtic and all the best to yourself. And he was just a wonderful, wonderful fella. Links in the comments there, guys. Have a read. He couldn't have been any nicer, and he just spoke about that game. And as Brian McCabe says, Liam Miller, God rest him. Now, Celtic scored a wonderful team goal that night, Sean. And David Pleat was in the co-commentary box, I believe. And David Pleat said it was one of the best team goals he's ever seen. And he said you would go across Europe for years and years and not see a team goal like it. And I think it culminated in Liam Miller's header. Chris Sutton and Liam Miller scored the goals that night. So it was either, but I'm sure it was Liam Miller's header. And David Pleat was raving about it because Celtic passed it side to side. And, it was just a brilliant football goal. And, Liam Miller, who sadly passed away, as we all know, scored a cracking goal. And Celtic won 2-0 that night and lost 3-2. Controversially, and Leon with Big Bobo's handball, but Juninho speaks about that. But I think he scored, was it 74 free kicks? I think he scored in his.
I think that's the stat.
It's the most that anyone's ever scored from direct free kicks. But lovely fella, and just really, you didn't get the feeling that he was given a platitude. He genuinely was. He genuinely spoke with affection about Celtic and that experience, and I urge you to go onto the website and read it. It's worth it. Just
what stuck out to me, Tony, was his emphasis on. I mean, this is a guy that was sporting director at Lyon, a massive club in France, and different things. So he was in the administration side of things, if you want. But he's obviously not forgot the kind of role of fans and stuff, because he kind of says to you, and this is not that far removed from the attempt at a Super League and different things, but he kind of wanted to make the point about the Champions League that it is what it is off the back of fans, even though there's a lot of money coming from TV and stuff. So I thought that was quite pertinent that he made that reference to you. He never just said, the fans are great at Parkhead. He kind of made a wider point about the role of fans in general and making the Champions League what it is. just on Brian McCabe's comment, Liam Miller, the one that sticks out for me with him is the Anderlecht game.
Yeah. He was terrific.
Against that, Vincent Kompany played in that game as well, I think.
He did indeed, yeah. Celtic had the chance to sign Vincent Kompany and passed up on it, I believe.
There we go. Frank giving Scott McDonald a bit of love.
Yeah.
Since nobody had done it. I remember that game. The Dida stuff just still baffles me. But
in a professional sense, I was in the Nitro following Aberdeen.
Darren Mackey,
who went to score the away goal that knocked the Nipro out the following night. And we were in a restaurant. I hesitate to say the word bar there, Sean. Watching Celtic playing, and obviously the pictures unfolded that Celtic had beaten AC Milan for the first time in our history, and I was out doing a professional job at Aberdeen, so that was a great night, or a great couple of nights for Scottish football.
I forgot to come back to your professional one there, for me as a fan, it's the Barcelona one. It's got to be. I was still at uni at the time. My best mate was working in Glasgow at the time too, so it was easy to just meet up. Went for a few pints before it, and then went into what was the best atmosphere I'll probably ever experience, professionally or as a fan. The whole thing, Tony, was just nerve-shreddingly superb. Is the only way I can describe it. Professionally, it was probably Barcelona again, but this time the 2013 game, because it was my first time at Parkhead in a kind of professional capacity. I was helping film the kind of presser and then the on-pitch kind of light training stuff for the wee montages you see on the news. Cesc Fabregas was there. He was playing false nine a lot at the time. Gerardo Martino was the manager, that kind of thing. So probably that as well. But
as a young fan growing up, Johnny Doyle's header against Real Madrid in the European Cup final 1980. And then when I went home and watched it, again, my love of football stemmed from professional people like Archie McPherson and Arthur Montford in particular, one of Greenock's most famous sons. And he just went tonto that night when Johnny Doyle scored, and a lot of older fans will remember it. But I'd be 7 going on. I'd be 8 my next birthday, and it was just something really, I just knew I'd watched something really, really special. And I was kind of crestfallen when Celtic lost in the return leg 3-0. I couldn't see how they could possibly lose 3-0, but growing up, those kind of memories, and especially in the European Cup, when George McCluskey scored the opener, and I think Laurie Cunningham was playing for Real Madrid.
Certainly was,
just again seeing these guys, and then the Ajax 2-2 game at Celtic Park. I think Ajax took centre and kept the ball for about 5 minutes, and then Jesper Olsen scored, and I was just like, this team are amazing. And I've written a book about that game. So I've written a book, and there's a chapter in it about Cruyff in that game. Yeah, Graham Sinclair, Martin Cruyff. Yeah, but my abiding memory of that is a pass that Cruyff made to Soren Lerby for the second Ajax goal. And honestly, God, it's just like, it's one of the best cushion passes I've ever seen in my life. And then Lerby dinks it over Bonner. Check out the YouTube highlights of that. Yeah. It's a wonderful goal. It really is. And you wonder why they're called the Dutch Masters. It was just a brilliant people. Celtic put them out over in
Frank Kennedy, you're still a youngster, Tony.
I'm a 50-year-old youngster, Frank, and I guess Johan Cruyff did the marking job on Sinclair.
Jerry Coyle pulling you up a wee bit there, Tony. Well, if you were 7, Tony, you would definitely be 8 on the next.
I would be, yes. I was trying to get the kind of logistics.
This is a good one, Tony, from Chilpel, and I kind of never thought on it in this manner, but an individual performance as well that makes it a memory. And Chilpel outlining John Kennedy's in Barcelona before his injury was awesome. I'd also throw David Marshall against Barcelona in there as well.
Performance was superhuman that night. I mean,
that was probably why I as a youngster, liked. I remember I says this at the time. Artur Boruc ended up, in my opinion, the best keeper that's played in Scotland in terms of a peak that he's reached well in Scotland. But at the time that he signed, I've said this before, I kind of was, David Marshall should be the number one. I wanted him to get his chance, and I think a lot of it stemmed from the way that he broke into the team and the way that he came across when he was so young and stuff. So
I think also
the Barca game played a lot in that.
I think John Kennedy and Marshall's performance, what was that, not the UEFA Cup?
I think so, but just in general, it's,
I know.
The way to think about it, the individual performance type thing.
Yeah, definitely. Then Tim Anon comes in as well and says this: surely and Brady and Platini played. Yeah, they did indeed. 1981. I mean, that is Celtic, and I mentioned that in the book as well, that 1980, 81 and 82 Celtic played Real Madrid, Juventus and Ajax. How's that for a triumvirate of European superpowers? And
a quartet.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. A quartet of superpowers. So yeah, it was, and that was my kind of, I was growing up and being taken along by my father to watch those games and marvel at the players. Much as Celtics had their good players, other teams had great players, and it was just a joy to kind of. We used to sit in the main stand opposite the jungle, but I'd always wanted to be in the jungle. But I was too small. My father said, He said, "You're too
Not
small."
That you're harboring a grudge here, Tony.
You're too small. You would get trampled on. Was always his expression. Like okay. But there you go.
Before, I mean, there's a couple of comments here. Is it possible to get two teams from the same country? No, it isn't. They're separated. So, for instance, I'll put the pot up again for 2 seconds. So, for instance, if Man City came out of pot one, Liverpool and Chelsea and Tottenham can't be in their group. Basically, that's the easy way to say it.
Indeed. But yes, indeed.
So, Tony, what time's the draw again? It's on live for viewers in the UK. It's on BT Sport.
BT Sport, their coverage kicks off at 4:45. I think the draw starts at 5, and you know what UEFA like with a preamble, so it could finish any time between
now and tomorrow.
7. Yeah, exactly. But you know what they're like with the pomp and ceremony; they like to make a big deal about it. But we will be as live as soon as we can after the draw. Special guest, John.
Yep, we will be live as soon as the draw is over, basically, to bring you some immediate reaction. But more than that, Tony, we'll have a very, very special guest to do it with us, won't we?
I would urge you to tune in because the special guest's worth it. Yeah, definitely. We've teed him up and he's good to go. And yeah, we will tease you with that one. Leave you hanging, guys. But
might even announce it on the Twitter in the lead up. Just to
I'll leave that in Sean's capable hands to do it on Twitter. Indeed. But yeah, come back and see us after the draw. You won't want to miss it.
Good stuff, David. See you then, aye. We've got. Do you get any clues, Tony? Any clues without giving it away? No.
Would you say think the cup with the big ears?
All right. Okay. All right. That's interesting.
But think closer to home.
So we'll see you back here. Basically, I know you'll all be keeping an eye on the draw. So basically, as soon as Celtic's group is confirmed, jump on YouTube and we'll be here with a special guest. Pete, will you both be sober? I can confirm we're the consummate professionals, Pete. Yes, I mean Tony might have been swigging the Benel in the last couple of days, but that's about it.
Apart from the Cavonia, if that's got any kind of. If I'm taken for any kind of testing, then that would show up. But yeah, that's all. Never drinking the job, you know that.
Apart from that, we've got we like the comments here because it's Champions League draw day. We thought we'd do another wee top giveaway on the old Twitter. So I've put the link in the comments, and it's as usual. It's just a case of retweeting it, following the Celtic Way Twitter account, and then that's you in the draw, which will be made a week today. So before the Ross County game.
Guys, that's been excellent.
Actually, after the Ross County game. Sorry, don't know why I said that. After the Ross County game.
Thanks for your comments and your memories, guys. It's just wonderful when you talk about Celtic in Europe and all the wonderful nights that they've had. We urge you, as always, just look along the bottom, subscribe to the Celtic Way, supporting top quality journalism, covering the club you love for only £1 a month for full access, and that's access to everything that's on the web. And today, if you go onto the site, you'll see some wonderful stuff on the site today. You know what to do. Hit the button, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. Thanks for that, Charlie. Appreciate it. Make sure you come back and join us. It'll be worth it, won't it, Sean?
Certainly will. See you all later, troops. Cheers for tuning in.
Thank you, laptop. Appreciate that. Sean, thanks for your contribution. First class as always. Graphics are always great. I love it. I love a graphic. It explains it to guys like me. Basically, older guys of a certain vintage. Troops, enjoy your day. It'll be 6 hours now and counting, won't it? I think we started.
Probably, around about that, yeah.
About that, yeah. Can't wait. We get who we get. It's exciting. It's something worthwhile. Go on, Ange and the boys. You know the score. Thanks, guys. Take care. See you soon.